distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to Sultan Qaboos Cultural Center for our celebration of Omani Women's Day 2025, Diplomacy, Leadership, and Education. Omani Women's Day, celebrated annually on October 17th, stands as a reminder of the vital role women play in building our nation and advancing Oman Vision 2040. This year, under the slogan, "Woman is a Partner in Development," we celebrate the remarkable journey of Omani women whose commitment and service drive the renaissance of our nation under the visionary guidance of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq. Today, we gather not only to celebrate these achievements, but also to reflect on the enduring vision that made this day possible. A vision first established in 2009 by His late Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said, who recognized women as equal partners in Oman's national development. Oman's Women's Day is more than just a celebration. It's a reaffirmation that the empowerment of women is a cornerstone of Oman's identity and its future. Across education, diplomacy, public service, business, and the arts, Omani women continue to lead with excellence, creativity, and purpose, inspiring generations to come. This year's theme, Diplomacy, Leadership, and Education, highlights fields in which Oman's women are not only excelling, but also setting new standards both nationally and globally. It is a celebration of achievement and a call to continue fostering dialogue, understanding, and opportunity for all. We are honored today to be joined by distinguished speakers and partners, including representatives from Embassy of the Sultanate of Oman, the Middle East Policy Council, and the Middle East Institute. As our moderator, Mr. Joseph Haboush, whose work in international journalism brings the region's most important story to a global audience. A special welcome goes to Ms. Sabra Al-Hooti, Deputy Chief of Mission at the Embassy of the Sultanate of Oman, and His Excellency Ambassador Al-Rahbi for being here with us today. Thank you for your support, Your Excellency. Her distinguished career and leadership will inspire our conversation today. We hope this afternoon will both be a celebration and exchange, a moment to reflect on the progress that we have achieved and to look ahead at how we can continue strengthening women's leadership across borders and generations. Allow me now to invite Ms. Sabra Al-Hooti and Mr. Joseph to the stage. And I will, while they are walking to the stage, I'm going to give an introduction about Ms. Sabra Al-Hooti. I think you all know Ms. Sabra Al-Hooti. She's a distinguished diplomat with over 15 years of service at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Oman, where she has led key roles across financial, administrative, economic, and political departments. She led the first implementation of the ministry's performance monitoring system, IJADA, helping the Foreign Ministry achieve national recognition. She has also played a leading role in the initiatives promoting innovation, workplace excellence, and organizational developments. Since July 2022, Ms. Al-Hooti has served as a Deputy Chief of Mission in Washington, D.C., where she continued to strengthen diplomatic relations and build meaningful partnerships between Oman and the United States. Her career exemplifies leadership, integrity, and a deep commitment to advancing diplomacy through collaboration and understanding. Please join me again in welcoming Ms. Sabra Al-Hooti and Mr. Joseph. Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm not going to go on too long. It's Sabra's day, and it's your hour. So we just heard about a little bit about your CV and the incredible things you've done. Can you talk to us a little bit about your journey and what brought you to, what motivated you to become, DCM?
Yeah. First, thank you, Joseph, and thank you all for attending today. And to be honest, I just want to thank Dr. Majid for this opportunity, and thank you all for attending. And also thank you for His Excellency, because I know he's kind of busy and he have a tight schedule, but he made it. And this actually shows how our officials in Oman, they support Omani women, even if they are busy. So thank you, Your Excellency. Allow me first to begin with a very famous phrase spoken by His late Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said. He said about the role of Omani women in Oman, a nation does not fly with one wing, but with two wings, the man and the woman. And about me, I am married to a very supportive husband. I am a mom of 4. And my oldest, he's 19. He said he will be here, but it seems that he's not here. Salim, I know he's not here. This has always happened with teenagers. And to be honest, it's a pleasure to be here today to represent an Omani woman in this special day. And thank you very much for attending.
Great. I want to, again, just looking back on your time as a diplomat, can you talk to us about, tell us some of the things that you remember most, what led you, or what helped, pave the path, what lessons you learned along the way, and what's made you the successful diplomat that you are today.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. My diplomatic journey was, to be honest, very excited and I learned a lot. I have been through lots of experience and lots of working with lots of officials that are very professional. And also, it's not easy to represent Oman, because you have to represent Oman or any country with responsibility and also with the pride. I joined Foreign Ministry in 2008, so Hiba, it's not 15 years, it's 17 years actually. And it was like a strange story to begin in Foreign Ministry. I used to work in a private company, but when there's like a job opportunities for a ministry, it was in 2008. My friends at the company, they said there's like opportunities to go and work in foreign ministry. I was like, I'm not interested. I want to stay here because the salary was good and everything, like friendship. Everyone was very kind in this private company. Then they said, okay, we will do all the paperwork and we will do all the CV and they will update everything for me. Said, okay, why not? Let's give it a try. So after I did all the exams and I did all the interviews, it was very hard, to be honest. And I got the job. And unfortunately for them, they didn't join, they didn't make it. So this gives you a lesson, to be honest, that whatever it's meant for you, it's going to be for you. So you don't have to fight. This is very important lesson was for me.
Just this last one, I want to ask you, what lessons can young Omani women take from you or learn from you, and what message do you have for them?
There's a lots of messages, to be honest. For Omani women, that's as in diplomacy, because once in 2008, what I noticed that my first week in foreign ministry, I had been chosen I had been chosen to work in a project. This one is not working, Hiba? This one?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, so, okay.
Bring it closer.
Okay. So in my first week in foreign ministry in 2008, I have been chosen to work in a huge project called Jewel of Muscat. And since then, I noticed that in the foreign ministry that they really take care of women. So you can notice it because they can choose any man for this project, but they choose a woman for this. And that project was like building a ship from traditional way, only from rope and wood. So there's no nails, nothing. And all this have to resell from Oman to Singapore. So I was holding the whole money because I was having all the budget. I cannot tell you the number, but it was huge. And so you can notice that For Omani women and diplomats, even for when your first week, you can have an opportunity to I don't know, just believe in yourself, work hard, and invest in your skills also. This is very important. And also try to complete your study, because after I finished the project, I was decided to why I don't do master. So I did my master in human resource in London. It was 2010. It was in rewarding. So that master changed me a lot, because it's not about rewarding only financially. So the employee could just say thank you for the employee, and it's very important. Also, you have to also invest in your study as well. And after that, my first post was, Alia knows, it was in Abu Dhabi. It was a very nice experience. You can imagine it was like 6 hours drive from Abu Dhabi to Muscat, and now I'm here, 16 hours direct flight by plane, which is fair enough, but it was a very nice experience in Abu Dhabi. And so posting is important. You don't have to go abroad and experience working as diplomats outside, like in the embassies, is very important also for the young woman.
Great. And one day we're going to have another panel just to discuss your time as basically heading the embassy these past 2-3 years, which was arguably one of the most difficult for the region.
Yeah.
So without further ado, I think we are going to go to the next, or to the panel.
Yeah. Now there is also a question about ijada. I don't know if I forget to mention this, but it's before I came here, I worked as a team leader for ijada in Muscat, and that was a very nice experience, because I remember the first day for ijada, I had 7 members of a team. And they were very hardworking. Without them, we couldn't reach the success of the achievement that we give to foreign ministry. So I remember the first day with the team, I told them we have to get number first for the foreign ministry in implementing ijada. Ijada was about measurement of performance of employee, and it was first time implementing in Oman in all government entity. So they were laughing that, Sabra, we cannot make it like first in Oman. I said, yeah, let's give it a go. After 1 year, we got 3rd, but it was very nice achievement for foreign ministry. And the foreign ministry, they actually reward us in a very private ceremony. It was very nice. And because of that ijada, I went to TV broadcast in Oman, national TV, and I was famous. No, I'm joking, but it was a very nice experience.
I will invite now the other speakers for the next panel discussion. We will have Ms. Sabra, you can stay here where you are, and Mr. Joseph also. And I'm going to invite Ms. Bassima Ghussain, Executive Director of Middle East Policy Council, and Dr. Sarah Saxton, Chief Operating Officer, Middle East Institute, to the second panel discussion, which is going to be on women in diplomacy and leadership. This conversation is going to explore the challenges and opportunity facing women in international affairs, the advancement of Omani women within foreign ministry, and strategies for strengthening women's leadership across all sectors. Please join me in welcoming them.
Also see an Omani woman representing Oman in lots of international stages. And I can share this very important information that one of the first Omani Arab ambassador was Her Excellency Khadija Lawatia. It was in 1999. She was an ambassador to Oman, to Netherlands. And of course, you all know that the first Arab also ambassador to US, Her Excellency Hinai al-Maghairi, and she has been here from 2005 until, Dr. Farah?
2020.
2020. I asked Farah because she is her mother. Her Excellency Hunaina, she's a role model for all of us, to be honest, and she served here for 16 years. And she gave us lots of very nice advices. And everyone actually, before come here, like for me, before I come here, I went to have a lunch with her, and she gave us lots of advices. So you can see lots of women all over the places, all the embassies, sorry, in Oman. And one more thing, the percentage of, I just asked my friend back in Muscat, how many Omani women now in the foreign ministry? She said 30%, which is very, very, very huge number for Omani women in foreign ministry. So this, of course, didn't happen overnight. It's the result of a long-term policy that encourage equal opportunities and also to trust women to be in lead. Thank you.
So just on that note, the 30% number, and you have a message earlier for young Omani women, but how, obviously, different regions, different parts of the world have different cultures. People on this side of the pond don't always understand our region in the Middle East at times. What message do you have to those young women about how they can balance getting into such a busy and demanding job while also maintaining, that cultural identity?
As I said, the advice is for a young woman, but I consider myself young, to be honest. But anyway.
You are.
It's very important to believe in yourself, to love your job, and to remember that it's not you, it's not about you, it's about your country. And it's always challenging, actually, especially if you work abroad, Joseph, but it's not easy to have a balance between your values and also to have a balance between your professionals working right professional way. So you need to know exactly what's your principles and what's your values, and also to have a balance between your culture and your work, and also to accept other people's culture. I mean, like in US, I had a lot of experience working here for past 2 years, and I cannot tell you funny stories that come across me here, but I was accepting all the cultures and all the people and different attitude. This is very important, but don't overcome your principles. This is important as well. And regarding also, just a minute, I wrote something here, sorry. Okay, and one more thing about the culture. This is actually shows in our foreign policy. So our culture, we get it from Omani policy. Omani policy is very important. It's about dialogues. It's about quiet diplomacy as well, and trust. And that's why I have to mention here that lots of countries come to Oman, especially in mediation. You know that, whether it's like in Iran or in Houthi issues. Why? Because they trust us. So just trust in yourself, trust lots of clearance as well, and that will be affecting your performance here in a different embassies. Thank you, Joseph.
Of course. Thank you. Gosh, there's a lot of big shots on this stage. Dr. Saxton is the Chief Operating Officer at the Middle East Institute think tank. Dr. Saxton, thank you for being with us, first of all. You've been in pretty significant positions, one of those being heading the American University of Bahrain. Can you talk a little bit about the traits or the factors that enable women to succeed in academia and education systems, particularly in the region?
So first of all, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, can you hear me okay? People in the back? Thumbs up? Okay, perfect. So first of all, thank you very much, Sabra, for inviting me, Farah, for inviting me, Your Excellency, for having all of us here. It is a great pleasure to be here, and I'm proud to say that I just was in Oman not too long ago, and it was as lovely as I remember it when I was living out in the region, also not too long ago. From the mountains to the water, just such an amazing place. So when I was asked to be here today, there was really no hesitation. I'm at your service. So back to education. So first of all, when I first read this question, I was thinking about the traits the traits that are required for leadership. I know Sabra, she talked about a lot of them, but a lot of them is in some of your own literature. When I read up today on She is Oman, the campaign for this day, smart, dedicated, generous, unwavering commitment to the family and society. I thought about other mentors that I know, other role models. They have traits of fairness and equity and reason and logic, and they're just smart. And I am so proud to say that those who are joining me on stage today have all of those qualities, and I'm honored to also call them friends. So the Omani women that I know are just simply amazing. As it relates to leadership roles, within academia, it's really not that much different than some of the roles that you look for in any successful organization or successful business. And one of the things that I think is really important as we talk about this subject today is to tie some of this back to the Vision 2040 in Oman, which has many components. But one of the larger components that is not only in itself a category, but threads throughout some of the others, is education and education leadership. And so all of those traits, in addition to the technical traits that are learned, I think are very, very important. If you'll indulge me here, I wanted to read a couple of things that came actually from one of the sites about what is happening in Oman to train some of these folks. Sorry, I need some more space here. Sabra talked about that she was a mother, but Omani women, mothers, educators, role models, they instill values, they foster ambition, cultivating stable environments and contribute to a cohesive and balanced society. That is also true of CEOs of most companies and, of course, higher education leaders. I read a bit about Dr. Leila bin Ahmed Al-Nakhr, amazing, your Minister of Social Development, and the way she talked about Omani women continuing to be active partners in nation building. So you have, I think, a lot going on already. Empowering Omani women, I think, has been a national priority, but it remains a national priority. And you see a lot going on with leadership development through the initiatives, the TASMU initiative, for example, implemented in partnership with the Royal Academy of Administration, where women are trained, qualified for leadership and management roles. The Omani Women's Associations also playing a vital role in social development with their training and cultural programs. I saw some astounding numbers, 68 associations representing 13,500 women contributing to community development and receiving technical and administrative support. The economic empowerment remains another focus. Over 200 women with economic training and financing opportunities. Capacity building programs have trained hundreds more. I can go on. There are quite a few programs, and I know this is well documented. But it's also worth saying, about the Omani women who are playing visible roles internationally in the United Nations and elsewhere. So I'm very, very, very impressed with what Oman's been able to do with the programs that they're providing and with the traits that they clearly already have to rise to leadership levels.
Great, thank you. Just to follow up on that, you mentioned you were just in the region, specifically in Oman. How can educational institutions help better cultivate, or help women leaders, grow and that have the traits that are there?
Again, part of the training is about technical training, and part of the training is about confidence. And I know Sabra raised a lot of it, so I won't repeat a lot of that. But she hit the nail on the head about being able to move forward, continually moving up, and continually being a stable hand in growth, and instilling values. Changing culture in a very positive direction, and again, being a really productive and value add part of a growing society. Yep.
Great, thank you. Next up, Ms. Bassima Ghussain. She's the Executive Director of the Middle East Policy Council. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Bassima has I've seen her work in town. You've worked across policymaking, media, and consulting on a number of fronts. What lessons can be drawn from your work here in the U.S. policy sphere that could help increase or enhance women's participation in the region?
That is an excellent question, and I think one of the most important things that Oman can do, which they've already started and I hope they will continue to expand upon, is something called the School to Leadership Pipeline. And that's when we start early. I can say for myself, in high school and in college, I was a huge speech and debate nerd, so I learned early on public speaking skills and how to tackle really complex policy matters and break them down into a way that the general public could understand. I think that's a very important skill. It's easy to tell young women to be confident, but it's so much more important to have someone who believes in them. And so mentorship is just an incredible part of developing young leaders, especially young women. And I will say that while I have been blessed to have incredible women mentors, I also have had incredible men as mentors as well. And so I think it's really important that we underscore the importance of their participation in empowering women and helping them to find their voice. In the United States, we have programs like fellowships, legislative internships, programs in think tanks, and that's something very important. I know that through Vision 2040, there's an emphasis on gender equality, women's empowerment, and leadership participation as national priorities, and specifically under the well-being and social protection pillar within Vision 2040, they commit financial support to women's associations and leadership initiatives, and that's a really fantastic example of Oman putting its money where its mouth is. So they're not just paying lip service to empowering women, they're putting the resources behind that, and we've already seen the results. One of the statistics that was put forward in Vision 2040, the report was not that long ago, women's literacy in Oman was actually less than 2%, and right now it's over 91%. So you can see this just incredible growth that's happened. We can see here the fantastic role models that we have, Hiba representing SQCC. We have, of course, our wonderful DCM, and many of us know that for a while here she was very much acting ambassador, and she held that role down very well. And of course we have Farah, and Sabra is really an incredible role model to me, because while I can say I'm proud of my professional success, I also don't have children yet, and so I haven't had to figure out how to balance that yet, and so people like Sabra are really important. Other things that are important are institutional design, so specifically when institutions have requirements to include women on boards, even just giving them some sort of opportunities for interviewing, etc., to get their foot through the door. And something that's really great is in the 10th five-year plan, the 2021 to 2025 plan within Vision 2040, it includes policies promoting women's economic and decision-making participation. So again, it's really a wonderful example. And then of course, media amplification is important. It's really great for young women to see role models, and even if they might not have that in their small community that they belong to, they can see that on television, they can see that in newspapers and books, and so that is something else that's very important. Also, coalition building and data and accountability. And one of the incredible programs that the Omani government has established is a program called GEM. And this is really a program that focuses on entrepreneurship and doing field work, ground studies to identify barriers that can be in the place of entrepreneurs, men and women included, how to have data-driven policy to solve for those barriers. And thus far, it's a really incredible, successful program. And we know that because all of the matrices are just moving up. So I gave the one, incredible example of literacy, but in terms of women being involved in business and taking out an entrepreneurship role, that's just continuing to increase as well.
Great, and then just quickly, so you talked a little bit about the frameworks that could be put in place. What strategies have you found most effective in not just having your voice heard but actually being an influential voice in those rooms that, where decisions are being made?
I think it's important to recognize that because women in leadership is still very much a new, phenomenon in the general public and society. I think it's important to recognize that, we will be judged, and there are times that we can be approached with skepticism, whether that's because of your sex or your age or whatever it is. And so I think it's really important to identify yourself as a subject matter expert in really important fields like energy, security, and diplomacy. And so people really need your presence for your mind and not just to kind of check a box. That's very important. Strategic networking is very vital to be trusted in key circles. And again, pairing advocacy with data and solutions. And again, we saw that in the GEM program. And then again, mentorship and really persistence and patience in strategy and execution, because these things do take time to implement, and we will, face hurdles along the way, and we just have to approach those with an open mind that when we face challenges, those are opportunities for growth, and that we continue to, support that goal as a larger society. And I'm so proud that Oman is really paving the way, especially in the Middle East. It's so important, the actions that Oman are taking to empower women really affects women beyond just their borders. It's really wonderful for other women in different countries to see what's happening in Oman and how successful they are and how much of a value add they are to society. It's not just a favor of, we're going to empower women to do something charitable. It's like, no, you're getting something out of it. And I think that's really important.
Great, thank you. Very insightful. Next, we have Dr. Farah Al-Hinai, who's senior advisor here, not here, nearby at the embassy. Dr. Farah, Dr. Al-Hinai, thank you for being here. Your research, you did a lot of research during the COVID, the pandemic, and how that impacted the experience of Omani, employees. What did you learn from that? Talk to us a little bit about, how that shaped your outlook on leadership and education today.
Thank you, Joseph. I'd like to thank everyone for being here, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. We're celebrating women in Oman, and not just women in Oman, but all women whose strengths and values have brought us to where we are today. So thank you for being here. Sorry for the shaky arm. I am freezing. It's so cold. So my doctoral research explored the engagement experiences of Omani employees in the workforce during the COVID-19 pandemic. This was a very trying time for many organizations, and it was important that they showed their perseverance during this time. In the field of organizational behavior, employee engagement is a psychological state of mind. It flourishes when people feel that they have meaning in their work, when they feel safe to be able to express themselves, and when they have the energy and the support to contribute fully in their place of work. And what I discovered was something very human. Engagement is not sustained by systems alone. It is by purpose, by empathy, and by trust. And many Omani institutions showed resilience during this time, and they drew on the cultural values that Oman has. Values such as spirituality, solidarity, community, and that shared responsibility. So especially in a time of crisis, that shared responsibility is very important. And those employees that felt valued and found meaning in their work were most committed, and they were able to carry on with their work. And this insight reshaped my view on leadership and education. So leaders, whether you're in a classroom or an embassy or a business or a ministry, they must create environments where employees feel psychologically safe and they feel that they are connected to something higher than themselves. And when we talk about education, it's not only the transfer of knowledge, but it is that cultivation of confidence and belonging to step forward as educators and innovators to keep our nation engaged, especially long after the crisis has happened. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you. That was pretty incredible. I will, you kind of stole my second question, but I'll let you slide. No, this was great. I just want to thank everybody on this panel here. And once again, I want to wish everyone here a happy Omani Women's Day in particular. And I want to leave the floor for any final remarks.
Well, I was struck by what you said about doing the research during COVID. So during COVID, I was in Oman, and it was the best. I know it was a real struggle around the world, but I have to say that it was one of the moments, the time periods that made me feel like Oman was going to be another home for me. So I just want to, I had nothing to do with education, but your comments made me say that. Thank you very much for listening to all that we had to say. There were a lot of very similar themes. I was really glad to see that. So thank you.
Thank you. So again, my name is Bassima Ghussain, and I'm the Executive Director of the Middle East Policy Council. And our organization has had a very strong relationship with the Embassy of Oman for quite some time. Our former president, Ambassador Richard Schmier, previously served as ambassador to Oman, and so Oman in particular has always had a special place in the heart of all MEPC employees. And I've really been inspired, as I said, by seeing Sabra in action. When she was acting ambassador for a very long time, she somehow managed to literally be everywhere at the exact same time.
It was fun.
So that was incredible to watch. And when I learned about really important programs like TASMU, which Dr. Saxton mentioned, that's a program that's initiated by the Royal Academy of Management. And that specifically is really encouraging women to get in line for executive roles in Oman. And so I'm excited to see more young leaders like Sabra, like Hiba, like Dr. Farah, and I think Farah, I think, and exactly, that you have an incredible school to leadership pipeline, and so I just can't wait to see what comes out next.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for attending. I was like, when Dr. Majid told me, please come and do this representing Oman as a discussion, was like, what do you mean by that? I don't have that much achievement, but it was like a very nice experience, and I'm honored actually to come here. And it's usually very important to step out from your comfort zone and do things that challenge yourself. So thank you, Dr. Majid, for this opportunity. I will not regret it, believe me. And just want to say thank you. Salim finally here. Thank you, Salim, for attending. And I want to say that without the family support, you cannot do anything. So it's very important for a family to support and for friends, for all of you to come. And thank you very much, Doctor. You have.
So just a few more comments on education and on women. Education has been the cornerstone of Oman's transformation since the early Renaissance days. And in just a few decades, we have moved from a limited access of education to a nation where it is a right and not just a privilege. And right now, just to give you some statistics, we are close to 100% attendance K through 12 schools. And our universities in Oman have over 50% of women who are in attendance. And that's a wonderful number for us. And many Omani women have been at the heart of this. They have opened doors for us. And I think I would be remiss if we did not mention some of the pioneer women in education, who are Her Excellency Dr. Rawiya Al-Busaidi, who was the first woman Minister of Higher Education. We have Dr. Muna Al-Jardani, who was the Undersecretary for Higher Education, Dr. Madiha Al-Shibani, who is the Minister of Education, and then proudly so, a lady named Fatma Al-Ma'mari, who achieved her PhD in the 1950s in the UK. This is a wonderful achievement for herself and for her time. And leadership development builds on that legacy, that it's not only, or it's no longer just about the access to education, but it's about cultivating those skills. And it prepares women to lead confidently. I won't talk about 2040 because you've all mentioned amazing statistics on Vision 2040 and the skills that we need, like cross-cultural thinking or cross-cultural understanding, digital fluency as well. And my own journey reflects that evolution. So education might have given me the voice, but it was educational leadership that taught me how to use that voice. And it is, as Sabra mentioned, the support of family, of mentors that have allowed us to reach to where we have today. And I believe that the next generation of women won't just inherit what we have created, but they will create their own, and they will be educators, innovators, and inshallah, future ambassadors. Thank you.
Just I want to mention, lots of our friends here, they couldn't make it because of the shutdown, but we want to thank Tim Linderger for coming. Thank you very much.
I think that wraps up our panel. I just want to say one thing. Has everybody in here been to Oman at least once? All right, I see a lot of hands, some people nodding their heads. If you haven't, and I don't say this lightly, some of the nicest people that I've ever met, not just in the region, and I've traveled the entire region. I come from a Lebanese background. These are some of the nicest people. It's one of the most beautiful countries, I think, also in the region. So it's worth going out and visiting. And it's not a sales pitch. It really comes from the heart. So again, she did not. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.